Good evening, beautiful souls. I wanted to do a video today on death and life. You know, yesterday I woke up and I got the news that, you know, Luna, my, you know, little Siberian husky, had passed away. I had checked her into a dog obedience school, and she had been there for about 2 weeks, and I just went and visited her and got the news yesterday that she had passed away. And I had lost three other puppies last year. For those who don't know, when I had first came out here to Mexico, where the first puppy died, and then the next day, 2 days later, the second puppy died, and then the the third puppy died right after that, a few days later. And I don't want to go down the long list. I mean, growing up, I never had, a physically present, grandmother. I had two grandma figures, that passed away, and you know, got to, I held my best friend in my arms, old best friend, when he had all three of his miscarriages, and every time when, he, cried in my arms for all of those miscarriages. And I know one of the students in our class, I had gotten to know him pretty good for about 10, 12 hours, about 10 hours. And then, his father had passed away right before our last class after 2 weeks. And, the thing that I learned, at one point in my life, though, was, death is not always a bad thing. Alan Watts, says, and I laugh because it really is beautiful. This quote, I mean, does not. I know Alan Watts now. When we go through this great awakening or whatever you want to call it, is getting more attention. But his quote, when he says, you truly awaken from this illusion when you realize black implies white. This is the only white and black t-shirt I had. You realize death implies life, and you realize self implies other, then you truly get to awaken from this illusion. And those are the words by Alan Watts, and they are so beautiful. Because when you study the laws of the universe, not just the law of attraction, but the other 11 laws, and you have the 12 universal laws, right? And when you study them, you start to realize that and I don't like to go down the sci-fi and make believe realm, but there's a quote actually though by Yoda, who's supposedly the wisest being in all of the universe, that when Yoda says, rejoice for those who have passed away. It's a sign that life is still, embrace it. It's a sign that it's a sign of life, I believe Yoda says. And his quote, really, really coincides with Alan Watts. And I have this black violin that I bought. I don't play it anymore. I don't have the time, so it's more of a decoration. It's not in tune, so I can't really play it. It's not in tune. But I use it as a decoration now because, it's such a beautiful thing. Just when I feel black, When I spot black in the room and my conscious is just automatically, like, wow, white is coming next. And what did I put right next to this black violin in my house? I have these white flowers, and no, they're not real. And the camera is just picking them up as literally as if it's light, but they're flowers. And I put them right next to each other in my house. And see how beautiful the elegance goes? Because, white is not always just elegance. Black, too, is so elegant. See how beautiful they are right next to each other? And, this philosophy really is deep wisdom, but it's so truthful. And when you understand that, energy is all that there really is. And what does that have to do with death? Everything. Right? Because when you understand that, energy is all that there is and the physical world is an illusion, right? When you start to relate to yourself as a soul, for your talents and your character and everything on the inside of who you are, your soul, right? When you start to love and appreciate and embrace yourself on the inside out, one, you truly discover yourself and you have free will. It's only free will when you discover your true self. But two, you start to relate and you start to connect and get to know people from the inside out. And you let go of the physical illusion. That's all it really is. Just like Nikola Tesla, our brother Nikola Tesla said, invisible things are the only realities. Invisible things are the only realities, and it's how they were able to telepathically communicate during the moon landing. It's how the Abenakis in Australia are able to, to understand exactly what's going to happen the next day through their dreaming. That's why Avatar and Titanic was created in a lucid dream state. We can go down the long list of modern physics that would just blow and shackle literally blow up people's minds that are maybe that haven't been introduced maybe to how the subconscious mind and subliminals work and how modern physics works. But oh my God, now energy is all that there is, and our souls are all that there really is, and our subconscious mind that are creating the vibration of the molecular structure of our physical body, right? It's just all a molecular structure that's responding to our subconscious mind and our soul. Therefore, we understand that when we die, when you die and I die, that we don't go anywhere. I describe it in the book, right? That it's literally just, you're just changing clothes. You're just putting on a new pair of clothes, spiritual clothes, right? It's not, I don't mean these. This is all physical. It's all an illusion, right? But I mean, you're literally not doing, nothing's changing. Your soul is still here. Your conscious is still here. You're still able to feel with your intuition and move around. You're free to travel anywhere there's energy, which is all over the universe and even Earth. It really is beautiful. And this is why I say, or I repeat, that heaven is a place on earth. And when you die, and when criminals die and all of those evil people, oh my God, they better be ready. It's going to feel like they're being burned by fire when they get to feel all of the pain and destruction they caused all of life at once. Get to feel all of that at once. And all of the righteous that took action, inspired action, they did a trick or get so good at talking on a stage while they rub their long beard. All of the righteous souls that took action through the grace of unadulterated love that all of the prophets taught about, through the vibration of love that all of life scientifically vibrates on, 520 hertz, when they're gonna, oh my God, it's gonna feel like heaven. But you don't need to wait until you physically die, or when you don't get to take any more action. You don't need to wait until you're in eternal rest or eternal slumber to feel the joys of all of life coming back to you. All of the kindness and righteous actions that you took from the heart, not because your religion told you to, not because society told you to, not because mommy or daddy said, you got to do it, because you did it from here. The unadulterated vibration of love, it's going to feel so good. And, this is why, once again, we are able to meditate and we are able to communicate with the dead if you so choose to. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still here. Now, some of them are in so much pain and burning. Yeah, I don't think they will even hear you if you reach out to them. They're pretty far down there. Now, we can communicate, though, and we can reach out if you so desire. Now, me, myself, my personal preference is I like to let the dead rest in peace. I don't want to bother them. It's like waking somebody up, right? When you have your roommate or your parents were asleep when you were a kid, or maybe some of you teenagers still living with your parents, right? You don't go in there when that door is closed, right? You don't want to go knocking. Because you wake mommy or daddy up, or you wake your roommate up after they had a long day at work and they're crashed out. You don't want to do that, and I don't want to wake up the dead. They're resting. They're in their slumber. And this is how life and death works. And life is such a beautiful thing or death is such a beautiful thing in some aspects. In some aspects, or the truthful aspects, that when somebody dies or death occurs, it's a sign, like Yoda said, that life is still going on, because for every death there's 2 more babies that are going to be born. Have you looked at the death mortality rate to babies being born lately? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And all of these unique 400 trillion to 1 miracles get to rest in peace, and they get to feel all of life still evolving through the action that they took. And life's going to keep growing and going and growing towards this perfection that we're so close to. You can almost taste it. Life's going to keep evolving and growing towards this perfection. And all of these souls get to rest in peace and just feel their continuous, infinite action that they took, all that good energy come back to them. Now, obviously, if you tried to come back and start over or start a new life, you would be crushed and destroyed by, life, because life's already moved on and progressed to where it is now in this present moment because of the action that you took. But if you try to, come back again into the present moment where it is, there is no foundation or no stability. It would be instant destruction. I don't want to go down. I don't want to get into that. I think a lot of you just understood the point I was trying to make, to a very far-fetched religious propaganda idea that's been preached so religiously nowadays in certain cultures. But I'm not going to go there. So this is life, though, and this is death, and it really is a beautiful thing. Life is so beautiful. Life is such an amazing gift and privilege that we have, and if you are alive, you are already blessed. I had repeated an affirmation. This is a very curious idea that, I had repeated an affirmation that I am just grateful to be alive. And, when I taught my subliminal class, one of the students, Mefrit, she had, gone over, what does gratitude mean to you? It was one of the meet and greet questions we had in the class. And Mefrit said, I'm just grateful to be alive. Very wise words from Mefrit. Be grateful just to be alive. And then after that, you realize how many blessings you have to be already above just being alive. Gratitude is the formations and structure of life. It's what builds life. I heard a religious pastor say, preach a very interesting story when he said that the prophet Jesus turned a few pieces of bread and fish into abundance through gratitude. And I was sitting there like, I'm not religious. I was there just for my family. But I'm sitting there like, wow. People don't realize what he just said. Everyone in the church was just sitting there all quiet or thinking about what they were going to eat for lunch, like, most churches nowadays. But I was sitting there like, oh my God, abundance. No, I don't have Tourette's. I just get passionate about abundance and gratitude, because gratitude is life, and life is so beautiful, and death is what allows for life to occur, and death is a sign of life. Let's talk about death. Let's talk about life. I'm going to go play my broken violin.